All right, so I think this is recording. Let's take a look here at problem number 1. We have two rational expressions. They want us to divide these rational expressions to express our answer as a single rational expression in lowest terms, and to also state any restrictions that we have. With restrictions, they come at 2 points within our solution. They come at the beginning of the problem, and then we're going to rewrite and change these division problems to multiplication by taking the reciprocal of the divisor, by flipping this second fraction. All right, so originally here, when we look at this, we do not see any variables in the denominator. So originally, we start out saying there is no restrictions, but we need to rewrite this expression. We've got 10n divided by 9. We leave the first fraction alone. If I change the division to multiplication, I have to take the reciprocal of the divisor. I have to flip it. So the 16 goes to the numerator, and the 13n squared goes to the denominator. Well, you can see now I have a potential problem. I have a variable in a denominator. With restrictions in arithmetic, we can't divide by 0. So our denominator can never equal 0. Now, if we had any square roots, we would be concerned about taking the square root of a negative number. That's another restriction, but we don't have that, so we're not concerned about that in this problem. But with a variable in the denominator, there exists a possibility of division by 0. So we have to make a restriction and say the n, since there's just that single factor, well, n times n, but n can't be 0. All right. So now we treat it like we did in the previous homework. We've got two rational expressions to multiply together. We're going to write it as a single fraction. We have 10n times 16, and in the denominator, 9 times 13n squared. So, and of course, our restriction comes along with each step. N cannot be 0. We look at this and we see that there is an n that's in common, but let's factor everything. Let's write it all in factored form so that we can really see what cancels and what does not cancel. So I'm going to factor 10 into 5 times 2. I'm going to factor 16 as 2 to the 4th power. 4 factors of 2. 2, 3, 4. And I have that variable n. In the denominator, I have 9, which I'm going to write as 3 times 3. I have 13, which is prime, so I can only write it as 13. And then I have n squared that I'm going to write as n times n. So when I look at these to see if there's any common factors, the only things that are going to divide to 1, the only things that are going to cancel is just this single factor of n. And of course, we have our restriction with each step. All right, so I'm going to put it back together again. I'm going to factor, or excuse me, I'm going to multiply these values. So I have 5 factors of 2. 2 to the 5th power is 32. And 5 times 32 is like 160 maybe. Let's double check. 5 times 32 is 160. So I have 160 in the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. What's 9 times 13? 117. Don't forget that we have a factor of n. Our restriction, n cannot be 0. So here's our final answer. All right, well, I hope that helps. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.